This is Rhonda Brooks of Farm Journal Media, and I'm talking with Sean Evans, who's the Monsanto Technology Development Representative here for Illinois. And I know, Sean, you've been talking to farmers today about just corn rootworm pressure. Tell us a little bit about what have you been seeing this year?
Well, corn rootworm has certainly been a big issue this year in Illinois. We had a very, very early hatch, and it seems like we've had real heavy pressure. Probably set up for that from the previous year where we had some dry conditions and a mild winter. And so consequently we saw the earliest hatch we've seen in 35 years, and numbers were really high. Mm-hmm. And obviously they're concentrated primarily in the north central and northwestern part of the state, but that can even travel as far east as Champaign and all the way down to Highway 16.
Okay. And when you say high pressure, tell me what that means.
Typically, when we're trying to quantify pressure, we're looking at adult numbers that we see flying around out in the field, and you're looking at an order of magnitude of 4 to 10 per plant in a lot of cases.
Okay. So, Sean, as we move toward harvest, what are you telling farmers that they need to be doing to prepare for next year?
And looking forward to 2013, really trying to get farmers to identify at-risk fields in terms of where they can expect heavy corn rootworm pressure in 2013. And to do that, really, it's a series of questions that they ask themselves about whether or not that field has been in corn for 3 or more years. If it has, then you're probably at risk. If the farm has had continuous use of a single mode of action trait in terms of BT technology, you're probably at risk. And also, if they look back at their records and try to remember, while it's still fresh in their memory, about whether or not they had heavy adult flights that they saw in their fields this year, that would be another indicator that they probably have an area that's at risk to have heavy pressure in 2013.
Okay, so if they've got corn on corn, multiple years, 3 years or more, if they used a single trait and maybe even the same trait year after year, is that
correct?
Okay. What kind of yield losses have you seen this summer from rootworm?
Well, it's always hard to tell exactly what you have because you have to have side-by-side comparisons in a field. But I can speak from one experience from a plot that was taken out south of here in Morgan County, where we had VT3 Pro, split planter with the refuge that was treated with insecticide, and there was a 40 bushel difference between those two. And in the same field where we had smart stacks, that was another 50 bushels above the VT3 Pro. So you had yields going from 80 to 180 bushel in the same field, and that was probably largely due to corn rootworm.
Okay. As farmers pick their hybrids, what if the guy does want to have corn on corn? What does that mean for next year in terms of picking his hybrids?
So if you've identified fields at risk, but economics dictates that you still grow corn on corn, there are a few BMPs that we have shown that will work, that a farmer can employ and still get success. And those are utilizing pyramided traits. So in terms of Monsanto products, that would be the Smart Stacks line of hybrids, where you have 2 different modes of action for below ground pests. And if the genetics aren't what you would like in a trait package like Smart Stacks and you need to go to the single traits, then we recommend that you use a soil applied insecticide with those products.
And preferably something you didn't use last year, I'm assuming.
That's always a good recommendation. The more you can rotate different modes of action, probably the better off you're going to be in combating tolerance or resistance.
Okay. And then as far as next spring, once guys get their corn in, is there anything you recommend that they do from a scouting standpoint?
Yeah, I think probably in Illinois we've got a little lax and we don't do quite the amount of scouting that we should. And starting in early June, I'd encourage growers to go out, start digging roots, start looking for larval feeding or indications thereof, and then monitor that through the summer, all the way up through late July to see what that population is doing to the crop. Because in a dry year like this, we don't have all the telltale signs like lodging that we normally see in a year with normal precipitation. It's been so dry that there hasn't been those winds, the saturated soils that would promote lodging. And so it's not as easy as driving down the road to notice that you have a problem. You need to get out in the fields and look.
All right. Well, Sean, thank you for your time, and this is a topic we'll continue to follow. Thank you.